Alrighty, what's up y'all? So I decided to make a video today because my phone just died. And it seems I am a very intelligent person. Even though I can't speak, I'm intelligent enough to purchase a very highly sophisticated quad lock wireless mount and route said mount and install it properly with no ifs, ands, or buts, no issues, and I am just not smart enough to turn it on. So yeah, my phone died and I'm bored, so let's talk about some stuff. Let's talk about friendship levels, right? So most of the stuff I talk about is general, you know, like spectrum type stuff. There's not a lot of black and white in this world, although people try to make it that way. Most of the world is in a spectrum, at least to me, right? And everything I say is my opinion. So let's just get that out there. I'm not a professional. Anything in this genre of speaking. Just a dude running off at the face, as I like to say on most of my motorcycle therapy videos. It's just me yapping, right? So I believe in friendship levels. I think we all, and not just introverts, I know it's a thing for introverts as well, but I think we all as people have levels of friendship, right? Like you got you know, levels of, yeah, screw it, let's just use friendship. You got coworkers, you got acquaintances, which is, you know, kind of like a little better than a bucket in the road. It's a little better than a coworker. You got, what else? You got friends, like actual friends. You have good friends, which is a notch better than that. And you have close friends. And then you have, let's just go straight to best friend, like your bestest bestie ever, you know. And those relationships each have their own nuances, their own communication styles, and some of those relationships don't get a communication style whatsoever. So let's go with let's start off with the top end, right? Best friend. This is the person that, you know, say for instance me, I went to high school with my best friend. He was the best man at my wedding. This dude, you know, it's one of those, like, when we left high school, it was one of those things that, like, you know, all friendships, all things like this are a form of relationship, right? When you left high school, you got that sensation like, oh man, I'm never going to see these people again. And some of them I felt bad about, but I was like, yo, I'm never not going to keep up with my boy. Never not. That's correct. Never not going to keep up with my best friend. And we stayed friends through high school, through adulthood, through trials and tribulations, through getting screwed over by life in general, through our old stupid mistakes. And this man has moved 8 states away. He's in South or North Carolina, one of the Carolinas. He don't live in Detroit no more, right? And I might not talk to this fool for 2 or 3 years. Usually about a year or so. I tell him happy birthday every year. He tells me happy birthday every year. We chit chat for a day maybe, and then we go back to regular life because we're both adults. We both realize life happens, and we just not as physically close as we used to be, but our friendship closeness hasn't changed. It's just that we realize that we're not going to include each other in our day-to-day goings and comings and all that stuff because we just don't have that much to talk about. But our friendship level has never changed. This fool could call me up and ask me any favor in the world. I would try my best to do it for him, and he would probably do the same for me. I can guarantee he would because he's done it in the past, right? And I've got maybe 2 to 3 people in my life on that level, right? Like that best friend is a badge of honor to me, and it's one of those things that I'm just not going to hand out lightly. And that's one of the things we have to look at. It's the person who is the object, subject, object. My words, people, you know what I mean. So just take what I mean and apply it to what I'm trying to say, and then your brain will understand, hopefully. It is the friend, me. I say that he's my best friend. He has to say that I'm his best friend, right? Like, I can't say I'm his best friend. I don't know what that man feels about me. I mean, I do, but I'm just saying it for an example. We both came to the determination that, hey, we're each other's best friends, and there was no like, oh, we've passed the test. There was no determining factor. It just happened organically, as we like to say these days. We both knew. It was like kismet. It clicked. And on friendship styles and levels, there is generally, unless you're one of those type of people that tests your friends, that's kind of not cool. I think all friends pass a certain type of test, but it has to be something natural. You can't just be like, all right, 20 questions, what's my favorite color, when's my birthday, who's my favorite music artist, that kind of stuff. That's stuff you learn. It's those things that actually test a friendship. Like, would you be there for me when I need you? Can I trust you with my secrets? Will you do this? Will you do that? And then on the other hand, will I be that person for you that's able to return those types of gestures or favors, or am I just that user friend that sucks up all the good and don't give nothing back? Because those people suck, right? So you got best friend, and let's go down to close friend. That's very high, very, very close to best friend. Me personally, I like to compartmentalize. I can't say that I have close friends, people who I will tell certain things to. Nobody's ever gonna get everything that's going around in my head, because sometimes I don't even know what's going on in my head. It's hard to articulate and vomit that out to somebody else for them to absorb in a way that you are processing in your own head. Like, I can say words that best describe my situation to somebody and just hope that they get my meaning, but that's with everything. But when you get into close friend territory, there's a little more emotion involved. There's a little more sensation of, I feel what this person's feeling. I can either appreciate it, what they're feeling. I can sympathize or empathize with them. Whole other thing with close friends, right? These are the people that I allow inside some of my innermost workings of my brain hole, my emotions, and they know a bit more about me than the general person that I would say be at work with. And it just so happens, because I like to bring this up, the military were more like a family, and a lot of my closest friends, except for my best friend that I went to high school with, are from the military. Now let's take that a notch down, right? Let's go to acquaintance, a good friend. Let's go to good friend. These are the people that, hey, maybe I'll ask for a ride every now and then, or they'll ask me to come out and do something with them every now and then, and we'll have general, basic, run-of-the-mill conversations about, hey, how you doing? Is everything cool with you? It's just those very cordial conversations. Nothing too deep. Nothing about your relationship, your marriage, your kids, all these issues. That's reserved for me specifically, particularly for my close friends. When we start getting into that type of conversation with a person that is a good friend, I kind of, I try to steer the conversation away from it, or I just give regular, bland answers so we can get that conversation over with. It's not that I'm not concerned or interested in their life. It's just my section of friendship I had to put the velvet rope up. You're not in there yet. And sometimes those people, from good friend down to acquaintance to coworker, they don't make it past the rope. And it's just not everybody deserves that much intimacy with your thoughts and feelings, right? Like, you can't be everybody's best friend. Like, it's not possible. You can't be everybody's close friend. And it's too emotionally draining, to be honest, to try to keep up with all this stuff. And sometimes that'll completely ruin the conversation, right? Like, I know you've been at work or some gathering, or even, just walking down the street. Hey, guess who I saw at Target or whatever. You're not going to tell them your innermost thoughts. You're not going to tell them your deeper stuff. And if you're having a real deep conversation with a close friend, and let's say an acquaintance walks up, what are the options? What are you going to do? You're going to switch that conversation, or you're going to stop the conversation, address the person and go, hey, what do you need? You need me? Oh, no, I was just stopping by. And then you're going to be like, okay, like, get the hell out of here. You interrupted me to just stand here. Now that's me, because I'm a turd sometimes when people interrupt me, because what do you want? Why did you come over here? You saw me talking. Get out of my face. Anywho, when you see those people and they come up, you try to redirect the conversation, because you don't want that person to be privy to the information that you were giving to your close friend or your good friend. It's one of those things that happens automatically, naturally, and sometimes one of the worst things that can happen, at least for me, is when a not so close friend gets information either from a close friend, or they overheard me saying something to them, and then they repeat that information to me, and I'm like, oh great, you know this now. And they're like, oh yeah, well, it's okay, blah blah blah. Now I have to deal with the fact that a person that I didn't want to know something intimate about me now knows this, and I don't feel like explaining to them that, hey bro, we ain't that close. Ooh, I was about to get real close to that bumper. And it's one of those things where I'm like, hey, either I would have to let my close friend know that, hey, don't tell this person we ain't that cool. Most of my friends know me, and they know, if somebody comes around, and I do the same for them. If somebody I know they're not cool with, we just gonna listen. We like ninjas now. we so smooth with our conversation, we'll integrate you into what we were talking about, completely change the subject, and you would feel like, oh, well, I just bonded with. No, you didn't. You didn't bond. No, you didn't. Water, ducks back. You sliding off, bro, like nothing. So we will integrate you, and then we'll, you know, go back to our conversation a little bit later, or we'll try to quickly break off the conversation and then dead it so we can all just leave and disperse and get away. It's just one of those things that I'm sure a lot of people do, and a lot of people don't really talk about it. And unfortunately, it does sometimes ostracize certain people who think they're closer to you than they are. And that's sometimes going to be an awkward conversation, or it just might be an awkward situation if you don't feel like having the conversation with that person. But some people, it's just like, hey, again, me particularly, like my close, like, you gotta be somebody I trust. 3 T's. 4. To hug me. Like, don't just hug me. I know this dude at work that's a hugger. I'm like, bro, don't touch me. We're not cool like that. And it's not to down that person's personality, but I don't have to absorb your personality just because you feel that we're closer friends than we are. That's I'm too old for that. I'm too grown for that. And honestly, I'm an old crotchety bastard. Now I'm just like, bro, no. I don't strike up conversations. I don't hold conversations. And this is just, you know, due to me probably, and not even probably, it's actually just me holding in these things for years and years, and not necessarily for this person, but it's just in general. Right now, I'm just like, when somebody's getting past their limit in our particular friendship, I will course correct them immediately and as politely as I can, because I don't want no misunderstandings to where you and I stand as friends or co-workers or blah blah blah. You might ask me something that I just told somebody else. What were you guys talking about? A little personal. Doesn't really concern you. I'm not gonna say it like that, but in my brain hole, I'm thinking, bro, none of your business. If I wanted you to know, I would have told you. And you know what sucks about that? I've been that person. Like, oh my God, I've walked into a conversation and been like, oh, my bad. But I realized it early enough to ask, hey, should I bounce? Should I leave? Because I don't want to make this situation uncomfortable or awkward. But I just realized internally I'm not on the level that I need to be with the people in this conversation to be standing here, and now everybody's just got that cold stare like, hey, the same situation I said earlier. What do you want? Why you come over here and talk to me? Oh, that's a horrible feeling. So I know what it's like to be that person, and it's just one of those things I had to realize as myself, because hey, sometimes even your close friends they might section you off as well. You know, we're both close friends. I just wasn't privy to this exact information because the person did not feel like telling me, or I caught them at a bad time and they were going to tell me later. Like, say if somebody is, I don't know, sick or pregnant, and it's like, oh, you got to tell of course they're going to tell a spouse first before they tell a friend. Like, get out of here. Why would I need to be privy to the information before the main character in their story gets that info, right? So it's kind of a weird situation example, but I couldn't think anything else besides, like, you know, something detrimental, like, oh, I got cancer. Like, that sucks. I wouldn't want to be like, thanks, close friend. Overheard something I shouldn't have, and get some jalapeno poppers. Like, nah, none of them situations kind of suck. So I think I'm gonna stop yapping. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to say, but I most likely didn't. I forgot something, because that's how I is. Some days I just get to rambling, and then it just falls off. So I think we talked about the levels, and we talked about how they don't automatically change. Sometimes they won't change for the individual. We talked about being embarrassed because I was that person, and oh, that's one. So putting yourself in danger for your friends. Listen, I'll tell you right now, there's nobody in my life on the friendship side that I would die for. Listen, I'm not gonna jump in front of a bullet. Honestly, if I was that fast, I would be a superhero. I'm not you cannot. The movies, like, listen, if you're fast enough to hear a gunshot, run your ass, and then dive in front of a bullet, you earn that. I don't know what to tell you, because that is some baller baller skill. Now, if somebody pulled out a gun on both of us and I'm in the front, I'm not gonna be like, oh, let me just switch places with you. I mean, who? And this is another thing. I don't know what I would do in a life or death situation. I know if my friend was drowning, I would not jump in to save him because I can't swim. What's the point of having two eulogies? We both gonna die. I cannot swim. Now, if it was my daughter, I know we're not talking about family. I would try. I would do whatever I could to get my daughter to shore, but she would have to rescue me because she can swim. I can't, and I'm heavy as shit, so I'm gonna kill us both? No. So when it comes to a friend, like, I'll try my best to protect you, you know, from danger. I'll look out for you. You know, like if a cereal box is about to get you out the cabinet, I'll block it out the way. I pinch a finger. Like if we was lifting the dresser and then the drawer closed for a friend, I get that. But dying for you? No. No. I need to be alive to read your eulogy and say how great you were in life, but I'm not going to die for you. If somebody even came up, if it was straight black and white, like I said before, like a lot of situations are black and white, if somebody was like, your friend's about to die, or you, pick one, I'm gonna be like, listen, one, why, and two, no. Like, listen, my friend didn't pay none of my student loans, they didn't go through bankruptcy, they didn't, listen, no, they didn't buy my house. I'm not gonna cash out your debt because you done got somebody that's trying to dead you up. I will tell your family what happened, and I will scatter your ashes wherever you need them scattered within a certain radius of how far I'm willing to ride my motorcycle. You know, obviously I'm being dramatic, but I'm just saying I'm not gonna die for any of my friends, but I will try my best to protect them and be a good friend, and I would hope that they would do the same for me. But there are limits. There's limits to everything, and there's levels to everything. And I hope you as a person know where you are with your friends, because at one point, I didn't, and I got set straight. I'm out.